Aircraft carriers are an ultra-modern means of military influence. They allow you to defend your interests anywhere in the world, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We present the top 5 most modern aircraft carriers of the USA. 5th place, USS George Washington, American nuclear aircraft carrier. The 6th ship of the Nimitz type, named after the first president of the United States, George Washington. Laid down on August 25, 1986, launched on July 21, 1990, in the presence of the First Lady. Barbara Bush enlisted in the fleet during the celebration of U.S. Independence Day on July 4, 1992. The ship has a length of 333 meters and a width of 76.8 meters. The total deck area is 18,000 square meters. There are approximately 90 aircraft and helicopters on the aircraft carrier. 4 elevators are used to lift them to the deck from the hangar. There are 4 desalination plants on the ship, with the help of which 1,500 cubic meters of drinkable water is obtained. Every day, the aircraft carrier's food unit prepares approximately 18,000 servings of food. The ship is equipped with approximately 500 cabins capable of accommodating 250 people. The ship uses 2 anchors weighing 30 tons each. On September 11, 2001, at the time of the terrorist attack, the George Washington was near the coast of Virginia. The very next day, it arrived in the waters of New York and ensured the security of the airspace of the city and surrounding areas. During his service, he makes trips to the Mediterranean Sea and the Persian Gulf. In 2008, despite the protests of the local population, the George Washington replaced the Kitty Hawk aircraft carrier at the American Yokosuka base in Japan. Thus, the George Washington became the first U.S. ship with a nuclear power plant permanently stationed at a base in a foreign country. Due to the fire, the arrival at the base in Japan was postponed. On October 20, 2012, an aircraft carrier, as part of the U.S. Aircraft Carrier Group, appeared in the waters of the South China Sea, where, since the beginning of 2012, the territorial dispute between China, the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan has escalated over the Spratly Archipelago Nansha and the Xisha Island Group Paracel Islands located there. The appearance of the U.S. ships irritated China, which planned military exercises near the disputed territories at this time. 4th place, USS John C. Stennis. The USS John C. Stennis was named after Senator John C. Stennis from Mississippi. It was laid down in 1991 by Newport News Shipbuilding Co. 2 years later, in 1993, it was launched and commissioned in 1995. The carrier's home port is Kitsap Base, Bremerton, Washington. The main duty station is the Pacific Ocean. Also took part in naval exercises together with ships of South Korea, Japan, and the United States, and participated in the Iraqi Company and the war in Afghanistan. The ship was laid down on March 13, 1991 in Newport News, Virginia. Launched on November 11, 1993. After completion and equipping, it was commissioned on December 9, 1995. The first test takeoff and landing of the F-14 was conducted in January 1996. During the next 2 years, qualification tests and crew coordination were carried out on the East Coast. The design features have not undergone significant changes compared to the aircraft carriers built earlier. Only the construction mechanism has changed, instead of the classic bottom-up scheme. The ship is assembled from 161 modules, which are assembled separately and then welded together in the dock. This made it possible to shorten the construction time and slightly reduce the cost of work. The largest crane in the Western Hemisphere is used to install the modules. The total cost of construction of the vessel was about $4.5 billion. The ship has a hull with a superstructure on the starboard side, called an island. The body itself is welded, consisting of steel sheets. In total, about 58.0 tons of high-strength low-alloy steels La-100 were used on the aircraft carrier. The flight deck is covered with armored steel sheets with the possibility of quick replacement in case of damage. Under the flight deck, the total area of which is 18 to 100 square meters, there is a gallery deck, where the catapult control center, as well as an aerial finisher, and a combat control post are located. There is also a part of the cabins. The gallery deck runs along the entire ship. Below is the hangar deck where the planes are located. It reaches a height of 8 meters and has an area of about 6,814.5 square meters. In case of fire, it can be divided into 3 sealed compartments. Under the hangar deck, there are 9 more decks for various purposes. Nuclear reactors, as well as a supply of aviation fuel, are located on the lowest decks. Third place, USS Harry S. Truman. Harry Truman is an American aircraft carrier, the 8th ship of the Nimitz type, laid down on November 29, 1993, launched on September 7, 1996, commissioned into the fleet on July 25, 1998. The ceremony was attended by U.S. President Bill Clinton. The cost of construction amounted to $4.5 billion. Named in honor of the 33rd President of the United States, Harry Truman. During the laying and construction, it was called the United States, but soon it was decided to rename the ship to Harry Truman. The home port of the aircraft carrier is the U.S. Naval Base in Norfolk. He made his first trip to the Persian Gulf from November 28, 2000 to May 23, 2001. On April 11, 2018, as part of a group of ships, he was sent to perform tasks in the Persian Gulf. Initially, it was planned to strike government targets in Syria, but in the end, on May 4th, planes from this aircraft carrier, which arrived in the Mediterranean Sea, struck Islamic State targets in Syria as part of Operation Unshakable Resolve. In November 2018, the aircraft carrier Harry Truman, led by the U.S. Navy Strike Group, entered the waters of the Mediterranean Sea. In May 2019, Donald Trump decided not to write off the aircraft carrier. This decision will cost the budget $20 billion over the next 20 years. Second place, USS Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan is an American aircraft carrier named after the 40th President of the United States, Ronald Reagan. Laid down on February 12, 1998, launched on March 4, 2001, commissioned into the fleet on July 12, 2003. The aircraft carrier Ronald Reagan became one of the few ships of the American Navy named after a living person, and the first named after a living president. The launching ceremony was attended by former President of the United States, George W. Bush, and former First Lady Nancy Reagan. Ronald Reagan himself could not attend due to Alzheimer's disease. Ronald Reagan died 11 months after the introduction of the aircraft carrier into the U.S. Navy. Aircraft carrier has 2 differences from the ships of this series. Firstly, instead of 4 brake cables, he has 3 of them. At the same time, the saved space went to the installation of more powerful braking systems that allow taking heavier aircraft. Secondly, to enhance the stability of the ship in strong waves. This aircraft carrier is equipped with a bulbous bow stem. The carrier's home port is San Diego, California. The cabin of the captain of the aircraft carrier, Terry Craft, is a copy of the Red Room of the White House, the office where Ronald Reagan liked to work during his presidency. There is also a table where Reagan worked as governor of California. Now, we have reached the very top of our list. First place, USS George H.W. Bush. George Bush is an American aircraft carrier of the Nimitz type. The 10th and last ship of this type has a significant number of improvements compared to previous ships of the project. Named after the 41st President of the United States, George H.W. Bush. It is the second U.S. ship named after a naval pilot. The first was the Forrestal. as well as the second named after a living president after the aircraft carrier Ronald Reagan. It also has the call sign Avenger, in honor of the TBM Avenger aircraft, which was operated by then-Lieutenant George H. W. Bush during World War II. Laid down on September 6, 2003, launched on October 9, 2006. Incorporated into the fleet on January 10, 2009. The aircraft carrier has the following innovations: island reduced and upgraded with armored window panes, new radars and communication installations, deck updated gas collectors, aviation fuel storage and distribution system updated to the level of semi-automatic control of the refueling process, latrine flushing system updated to a vacuum system, electronics and communication systems upgraded to increase the level of automation and reduce maintenance costs. In November 2011, it became known that the newest aircraft carrier George Bush had been experiencing a chronic malfunction of the vacuum sewage system for the past months. During the first campaign, there were 6 cases when all 423 aircraft carrier toilets failed at the same time. In one of these episodes, the sailors had to work 35 hours in a row to fix the problem. There were an average of 25 episodes per week of relevant work, which provided 94% of the availability of latrines. Specialists have spent more than 10,000 man-hours to maintain the system since the vessel was put into operation. There were no mobile toilets on board, no special plastic bags for waste. The crew members were forced to limit their food and water consumption, urinate in bottles, sinks, shower stalls, and use technical sewage systems for other purposes. Some crew members developed infections due to the fact that they postponed going to the toilet for too long. The system is prone to clogging and requires regular acid flushing to eliminate malfunctions and blockages. The cost of one acid wash is estimated at $400,000. As we can see, super modern aircraft carriers are on combat duty and reliably protect the Americans and their allies. They are ready to complete any task around the globe. Subscribe to the channel so as not to miss interesting and entertaining tops in the USA.